Okay, day 3, taking a risk. We're into it. So today I'm going to show you example essay number 2. I'm going to show you a couple today. And just so you get a sense of how these pieces are organized, the rich show versus tell they use, the moment by moment detail, the building up of the before, the tension, the goods. I want you to revisit your strong lead, make sure you've got one. And then I'm just going to shut up and let you work, let you draft today, and you really get through your before. That's our goal. So, a learning target, I can write a strong lead to hook the reader, and I can use the narrative techniques of action, dialogue, description, inner thought, and tension to relate an experience to the reader. Now, no pressure, but we want this to be some of the best writing you've ever done in your life. All right. So, I'm going to give you a second. You may pause and go ahead and pull up your taking a risk notes and planning document and kind of revisit what your risk was, the work you did yesterday, mapping out your story with some of the details. And then over on the right, some of the great word choices you wanted to use, and like maybe some dialogue, inner thought. So I will pause, find your work, and I'm going to be prepared to read an example. Okay, example number 2. This student writer, she is writing about an experience at a haunted house. Okay, so she titled it "You're Next." It was an hour of waiting, an hour of endless waiting, an hour of suspenseful, endless waiting. Horrified and nervous, I hear screams of terror, chainsaws ripping with menace, and the crashing of desperate footsteps under the moonlight. I can't do this, I protest, drilling this confession over in my mind. Yeah, you can. Just imagine how fun it's going to be, banters my risky friend. My mouth feels as if it was the driest of deserts. Sweat beads across my forehead. Each and every step, my stomach drops. Butterflies jolt around my gut. Everyone but myself so pumped for this, but I feel as if I'm the oddball in the group. Hair-raising characters prance around the lines, alarming people. A swift gust of wind blows right through the seams of my sweatshirt. We are next. Skittishly, I inch towards the wondrous doors of the dreaded house. So she's about 2 paragraphs in, and she hasn't even gotten to the before. She's building that tension, to the during. She's still developing the before, building up that tension. Things I like. I love her inner thought. Oh, I can't do this. So what were you thinking in your mind? She's got actual dialogue. If you put the words your friend actually says, like, yeah, dude, let's go, or you got this, that makes it real. I feel like I'm standing there watching the event go down. Like, yeah, you can. Just imagine how fun it's going to be. And then, of course, she doesn't have to tell me she's scared. Nowhere in your essay should you say, I was scared or I was nervous. Don't tell me, show me. She shows me, sweat drops beading on her forehead, her stomach dropping, those butterflies jolting around. That's what I want you to do. Show me, don't tell me. Next, screams the petrifying worker. Anxiously, I inch a little farther. Good luck, and remember, we'll see you in your nightmares, taunts the bone-chilling actor, staring me into bits and pieces. I shrivel up as I stroll into the monster of a house. Ah! The frightening characters bellow, barely getting through such terror. My face descends to the color of cold, dark snow. I see stars. I see dots. I see fuzz. At a snail's pace, I am getting dizzier and dizzier, but soon I'm back to it. I speed through, pushing every single miscellaneous scare away. I've soon made it to the point I've never dreamed of that I would have made it to. Face to face, eye to eye, I see him, the most intimidating, terrifying character yet. His black cold eyes whip around. Golden hairs spring all over his forehead. Eerily, he smiles. And it's not just a cheesy smile, it's a sinful smile. A smile so mischievous I could see right through him. He's enjoying this. Blood spots cover his body along with his nasty bruises and dirt. The man rends the court, rip, and he wields his horrendous chainsaw. Stomp, stomp, stomp. The monster comes hurtling at us. Stamp, stamp, stamp. We sprint for our lives, and at last, we're out of the blood-curdling house. So I'd say her during is at one guy, really approaching them, taunting them, pursuing them through the house. I like how she zooms in on the blood-spattered clothing he's wearing, his golden, crazy, wild hair springing out all over his head. I'm noticing some beautiful fluency. She starts with ly, an adverb. We learned that. Eerily. Okay. She's got barely getting through such terror. staring me bits to bits, skittishly. So, really, a lot of nice adverb openers here. I think she could probably zoom in on these different miscellaneous scares. She's sort of busting through, like, what are those? I'm wondering, as a reader, what was it like in this house? Was it dark and shadowy? What was it? What kind of scares were there? Were there zombies popping out or what? All right. Running back to the car, I realize that taking a risk can be a thrill. Chuckling at this now, I smirk at conquering my fear, making an unforgettable memory with my friends, and embracing the spirit of spontaneity and fun. As we leave the fairgrounds, I look back and I already know I'll be back next year. So she ends kind of reflecting on the value of her risk. It was a memory with her friends. It was fun. It was just a night of thrill being a teenager with your buddies around Halloween time. Okay? This thing is not incredibly long, page and a half. Is it have a lot of sentence fluency? Yeah. Great word choices. Indeed. Show versus tell. Yeah, she never said she was scared. She showed me, and she showed me the guy with description zoomed in and had some action in there. Organized before, during, after? Yep, it is checking all the boxes. And so let's take a look at your piece and where we will continue from here. Okay, so when we look at this, we want the before, the before, the before. You can have multiple before paragraphs. I encourage you to do so. You'll have the during paragraph, the after, and then a little conclusion. And some people like to connect kind of like their aha, what they learned, with their after, and that makes sense. So you're in charge of the organizing, but it just needs to be at least 3 paragraphs: a before, a during, and after. Now, how are you going to be evaluated and scored on this? So you write it down here. And it's all the things, nothing new, no surprises. Ideas, show versus tell. Like, don't tell me I was scared. I was nervous. Show me, right? That butterflies in your stomach, your blood turning to ice. Amazing word choices. Go to classroom resources, visit those help sheets. Awesome adjectives, amazing verbs. Use them. Is your piece organized? It's just not one blob of writing, but it's got a before, during, after paragraphs. Do we feel a sense of voice? Do you show your heart through this piece, like your fear or your triumph or your joy, your exhilaration? Like, what feeling is going on there? The inner thoughts, the dialogue, figurative language. And then we want you to try. We're going to hold your feet to the fire now. You've learned participial phrase. You've learned a positive, how to start with an ly. It's time to do it. And so you need to have a couple different sentences that begin with ings or an ly opener. And in the checklist, we'll highlight, underline, go over those. And then you've demonstrated standards of conventional English. It's not a bunch of errors and this crazy junky thing to read. You've spell checked, you've edited, it looks good. Okay. So revisiting yours, we did some leads yesterday. You can start with action. Just put us right in the moment. Wham, this cloud of dust. You can have dialogue. It's awful to fail, but it's worse never to have tried, preached my mother as we drove to whatever tryouts you're going to, your audition, right? I just really want to caution you not to start too far before your actual risk. If yours is riding a roller coaster, don't start with waking up that morning. Don't start with the car ride. Start with inching forward in line, okay? So you don't feel like you've got all this stuff to write about and you have to just kind of buzz through all these details in the whole day till you get to the goods. Get to the goods right away. So start close to your risk so you can build up just sort of the tension, your inner thoughts, your excitement. Not just this happened, this happened, this happened. Okay, now I'm at the high ropes course. Start harnessing up, looking up, and wondering how you're going to survive with your heart hammering in your chest. You could start with description, like where you are, inner thoughts. So you've got this planning sheet for how to craft a great lead. I'm just going to leave you with a few more examples of leads, and I'm going to give you time to write. This one is about building toilet paper forts at Walmart on a half day. And we used to have a lot more half days, and when kids did, all the shop and store owners along Henry Street hold their breath as you come wreaking havoc and descending upon them on your half day, riding carts around and doing who knows what in these stores until you're kicked out of Arby's and Walmart. Toilet paper fort 2, electric boogaloo. It's hard to imagine what it would look like to an outsider to see a pack of 12-year-olds making their way through the Walmart parking lot at noon on a Thursday. I guess I wouldn't know because I was part of it, riding in carts, climbing over cars, and generally making trouble while kicking up dust through an almost vacant parking lot. We were on a mission. The sight of our little gang strolling down the parking lot with it's going down right here, right now attitude around us would probably scare grandmas. So that's his lead. That's his opener, right? He's not even into Walmart yet. He's just sort of setting the scene, half day, freedom, they're up to no good, and then they're going to enter the store. That's great. Going back to the haunted house, she's there in line, an hour of endless waiting, suspenseful, endless waiting, horrified, nervous screams of terror, chainsaws ripping, crashing, desperate footsteps. Ah! So she's got description, same way this kid did. Okay? I'm going to just finish out the Walmart Fort one because it's fun, and then I'll let you write. Stepping in the store like a band of Wild West banditos ready to commit some crimes, we immediately made a beeline to the toilet paper aisle where the mayhem was about to ensue. Bobbing and weaving through aisles of chips, chocolates, and chairs, we reach our destination. To a bunch of middle schoolers, toilet paper is basically white gold, the perfect building block for making illegal forts in Walmarts. Easy and nonchalant, my friend to the right started plucking beanbag chairs off the racks, and one to the left was doing the same thing with rugs. Everyone else was just cracking jokes, messing around. Little did we know how epic this half day was going to be. And now they're to the during. So about two before paragraphs before the during. Stepping into the aisle, we did some minor scouting to make sure the area was clear of rogue employees so we weren't caught in our act. Masterfully, we hollowed out an area inside the sea of TP, making pretend we were just intensely shopping for toilet paper so shoppers weren't suspicious, making a double wall for safety, and installing the rugs and beanbags to make a perfect fort. It was the largest one we'd ever made and the most furnished after we sent some people to grab some air mattresses that were conveniently on display in aisle 4. I didn't think we could be foiled. It was until Parker got to it. Everyone's having a good time, Snapchatting, talking, Instagramming, and then it happened. Parker, the loudmouth, uber-twitchy psycho, went completely insane. He could not be contained, so when he was getting increasingly jittery in the fort, I should have been more concerned. "Watch this," he shouted way too loudly. In a sudden jolt of energy, I instinctively dove over to tackle him, but it was too late. He had burst through our perfect double wall and slid out into the aisle, alerting a nearby employee who started walking over to see what the fuss was about. "Scatter!" someone screamed at the top of their lungs, causing everyone to do just that and sprint in random directions for our desperate escape. Some sprinted through the employee-only doors and climbed out through the bathroom windows. We booked it out the door, dodging through displays of soda, candy, and Tyler Perry movies. Everything moved in slow motion. Blazing past a greeter, watching the suspense on his face as I blasted by. I shoved an inconveniently placed shopping cart out of my path to freedom, sending it hurtling into the gumball machines. Feeling like an action movie hero escaping from the evil base, I slipped and slid around cars. Darting across a busy street, I prayed I didn't get hit by some speeding bus, the car horns blaring in my ears. But after retreating behind a McDonald's, I regrouped with everyone. Laughing like idiots, we shared each of our unique stories of escape. I guess the gods had been watching, because in a twist of cruel irony, Parker had been caught and forced to clean up. But we were home free. I now realize the moral of the story is that you don't invite a crazy ultra hyper ball of pure stupid energy into a complicated, quiet, and risky endeavor. I guess we're just trying to have some stupid fun. Stupid, illegal fun. Stupid, illegal, risky fun. So this risk is all about hanging out with the boys on a half day. Very well organized, the before, the during, the after. Fantastic sentence fluency here. I noted darting across a busy street, comma, I prayed. Like it. Scatter, he's got dialogue. In a sudden jolt of energy, comma, fun. Great word choices, sprinting, alerting, bursting through the double wall. Parker, the loudmouth uber twitchy psycho, he's gotten a positive there. So he made it good. Stepping into the aisle, you've got it. So I am going to turn this time over to you to begin crafting your before. Today's work. I just want you to work on the before. Tomorrow we'll get into the actual during. If your before is one big paragraph, okay. If it's several shorter paragraphs, okay. But it's all about tension, what you were thinking, what you're feeling, your heart hammering, your inner thoughts. All right, go for it. And we'll catch you tomorrow. Have fun, writers.